Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we will be going to discuss about the Ruby and see a brief introduction of Ruby. Before starting this, I just want to let you know that this lecture will be the first of our bootcamp series. Okay, and in this video, we will discuss about the brief of the Ruby. So let's start with the next slide. So, what is Ruby? So, we can understand by these 6 points that what is a Ruby. So, first of all, Ruby is a server side scripting language. Second, Ruby is an interpreted language. Third, it runs on variety of platforms. Fourth, Ruby is also known as a pure object oriented language. Fifth, everything in Ruby is instance of some class. And sixth, class of an object in Ruby decided at the runtime. Now, let's try to understand each of these 6 points one by one. So, first point, Ruby is a server-side scripting language. So, first we need to know that what are the server-side scripting languages. Server-side scripting languages are the languages which are used to implement backend side of an application. And when using this technology, a client can communicate with a server via a request response cycle. Okay, so for example, if you try to access some information on the web, or you need to submit a form or update some data on any kind of web application, then your browser or the client first send a request to the server, then server send the response back to the client. For example, if you are registering for the Facebook, then what you have to do that first you have to submit the registration form on the Facebook, and when you hit the submit button after providing your information, the request goes to the server of the face where the Facebook application is stored, and then it send you a response like whether your if your information is correct or you have validated provided the valid data, then it will successfully create your account, else it will redirect you with some errors. Okay, and same on the form. So what happened there, that it works with the request response cycle. Okay, and this communication can be done via HTTP protocol. So there are multiple HTTP protocol like get, request, post, patch, put, delete, and many more. And Ruby is one of the server side scripting language, and it can be used to write such dynamic web applications and RESTful APIs. However, I'm not going in the depth of the server side terminology here, because we will see a lot more details on it once we start with the Rails part. However, I will attach the useful links to know about the server side technology in the description of the video. Now, let's come to the second point, that Ruby is an interpreted language. Now the question is that what are the interpreted programming languages and how many other languages are there. So in programming there can be two types of languages, that one we can categorize as compiled languages and other we can categorize as interpreted languages. So now let's try to understand what are the compiled languages, and then we will understand what are the interpreted languages. So, compiled languages are the languages which checks the semantics of the program or semantics of your code before actually executing them. Okay, so you just need compilers for those programming languages, or for that those source code. You don't need interpreters. But what the interpreted languages does, that you need interpreters, not compilers. You need line by line execution. So for example, if you have a program which contains 10 lines of code, okay, there will be 10 lines in your code, and if line number 9 is wrong, then compile languages throw an error at the compile time. But the interpreted languages will execute the program successfully up to the line number 8, and once it encounter the error on the line number 9, then it will throw an error. So you will only get error, or you will only get the mistakes when your program actually, and your when your interpreter actually encounter that mistake, not for the whole program. So that is the difference between compiled and interpreted languages. So Ruby is interpreted languages, and other interpreted languages are like Python, PHP, Java. However, Java is both compiled and interpreted. So Java is first compiled and then it is interpreted. So Java is a both compiled and interpreted. And compiled languages are like C, C++, .NET, etc. Now, Ruby runs on a variety of platforms. So, what does it mean, variety of platforms? So, you can run Ruby on any type of operating system. Like you can run Ruby on Windows, in Ubuntu, or any other version of Unix system, or Mac OS as well. However, I will only prefer doing Ruby development or learning Ruby or practicing Ruby on either Ubuntu or Mac OS. Okay, I will never recommend you to work with Windows system while working with Ruby, because this is my recommendation only. However, if you want to work with the Windows, you can definitely follow that, but I will not recommend Windows because I personally don't like it. So I will recommend you to go with the Ubuntu or macOS. That's it. And now, fourth and fifth point, Ruby is also known as pure object oriented language, and everything in Ruby is instance of some class. Now, why I'm saying that Ruby is a pure object oriented language? Because everything in Ruby, everything, no matter whether it is a variable or it is a object of some class, it is considered to be an object. Okay, except methods. However, except methods, everything in Ruby is an object. Why? Because methods are the properties. Okay, by using we can show the behaviors of some objects. Okay, so methods cannot be object, but except method, everything in the Ruby, whether it is variable, whether it is constant, whether it is some data structure like array or hashes, they are the objects of some classes. Okay, now the sixth point, class of an object in Ruby decided at runtime. You don't need to define the type of your variable, whatever you are declaring or whatever you are defining. You can your variable or your object will get or will have assigned its class at the runtime. So let me show you example that why I'm saying that class of an object in Ruby decided at runtime. Let's try to understand this by an example. For example, this is my terminal. I'm going here with IRB. IRB is a interpreted Ruby. Okay, and you can start practicing Ruby with this simple uh, terminal. Okay, so let's start this. Meanwhile, yeah, after this 6 point, please watch the complete video, because whatever I explained so far, based upon at the last of the video, I will provide you few questions. And if you get answer for those questions, because all the answer for those questions are in this video itself, but you if you can try at your end more and more, then you will get those answer very clearly from your end and from this video and from other sources as well. But those questions are very important, that definitely will help you to learn Ruby in much better way. So let's start with the IRB. For example, I had defined a equal to 10. So now if I need to access the now if I need to know what is the class of a, then I can simply run a dot class. Then you can see that a is the object of integer class right now. Now if I apply a, I love my name, so I'm just putting a equal to Ravi Singh here. Now if I write a dot class, you can see initially I assigned a equal to 10. That's why a becomes the object of an integer class. Now I change the value of a and I put a string here, or I assigned a string here to the variable a, then a becomes the object of a string class. Now if I assign a equal to 2 3 comma 4 5, now a becomes the object of array class. Let's see. Now you can see that a is a class of array object. A is an object of array class. Now similarly, if I can assign this, now a becomes the object of hash class. Similarly, there are, you can assign your custom classes as well via some new operator, and many other ways by which you can check that object of a class of an object is decided at the runtime. Okay, you don't have to provide it or define it initially, that from which class or from which class your object must belong to. You can change the definition of change the class of that object at runtime itself. Okay, so that is the advantage of Ruby, and Ruby is very faster as well. Now, so these are the 6 points. We have covered a brief introduction of the Ruby so far. Now, where we need to start Ruby? Okay, so before that, we need to implement Ruby, install Ruby in our system, and then we can start practicing it. Okay, so what you need first, that you need a machine with operating system of your choice. Maybe it is Ubuntu, Mac OS, or Windows. But as I said earlier, I will not recommend Windows. Go with the Ubuntu or Mac OS. But if you Windows lover, you can go with the Windows as well. Thank you. But I will prefer Ubuntu or Mac. And a text editor where you can write your programs, and where you can where you can write your programs and run them on terminal. Okay, or run them on a server. So text editor of your choice. You can use Atom, VS Code, or other text editor available right now, so far. But I personally prefer Sublime Text, so you can use the latest version of the Sublime, or any other editor of your choice. Now, how you will install the Ruby, or from where you should install. So let's start. I'm showing you the reference that from where you have to start that. So you can start with go to the browser and open Go Rails. Just follow this guide. Install Ruby on Rails. There are many other sources as well, but this is the trusted source which I is follow since last 4 or 5 years. So I will go with that. You can choose your Ubuntu version from here, or you can choose your Mac OS or Windows operating system as well, whatever you have. And you can choose the uh, version of your Ubuntu operating system, or you can choose version of your Mac OS as well, and you can choose version of your Windows OS as well. Okay, however, just let you know that when you install Ruby, the latest recommendation for the Ruby language will be 3.0.2. However, I will recommend you to use at least one version from Ruby 2 point something, so you can use 2.6 or 2.7.x, and you need to follow these commands and all that. However, one more thing, that here you will see that three different methods of installing Ruby in your system: RBNV, the Ruby environment; RVM, Ruby version manager; and from source. So I will recommend to use RVM for installing the Ruby, because it will easily and very helping for managing multiple Ruby version in a system. And you can choose any Ruby version of your choice depending upon your project, and depending upon in which version of Ruby you want to work. So I will recommend for RVM, and whatever you can choose that. It totally depends on you. However, RVM and Ubuntu is my preference. Okay, and I will also share this URL in description of the video as well, and you can get it from description of the video. Now let's come to the question time. Okay, what I seen earlier, that after at the end of the video, not only in this video, in all 110 lectures, at the end of the video you will get some set of questions that will make you a better learner for the Ruby language. So it's the question time, and let's see the question for this video. So these are the 6 questions. Okay, and you have to prepare it, and if you prepare it carefully and in better way, then I'm sure it will be a great learning for you. So the first question is that what is Ruby. The second one is why everything in Ruby is an object. Third one, how to get the class of a variable in Ruby. We see that a equal to 10 and then a dot class. Okay, you can practice it this at your own as well. Why, what is not an object in Ruby? As I said earlier, that methods are not the object in Ruby, so you can simply answer that methods are not an object in Ruby. Also, the difference I explained already that what is the difference between compiled and interpreted programming languages, and what is the difference between client side and server side programming languages. However, in this video I haven't explained what is the client side programming language, but I can show you, let you know an example that JavaScript is a client side programming language. Okay, so now you can research from your end to know in better way that what is a client side programming language. But I explained you the server side programming languages, and you must know the difference between both of these. So what we have, let's summarize this video, that what we have learned so far, that we know the introduction of Ruby. We discussed the introduction of Ruby. We discussed the what are server side scripting languages, interpreted and compiled programming languages, how object a class of an object is decided at the runtime, what is Ruby, and why everything in Ruby is an object, and what is the difference between client side and server side and compiled and interpreted languages. So this is the summary of the video, and that's it for this video. In the next video we will discuss what are variables in Ruby. Okay, and we will practice writing few and defining few variables in the Ruby, and then we move on to our third lecture. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and there is a great learning for you. And let's meet in the next lecture with variables in Ruby. So till then, thanks for watching this again. Tata, bye bye. Let's meet in the next lecture. Thank you.